Well, good morning. CQ, the old friends net. The old friends net meets here every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 a.m. and on Sundays at 5 p.m. This is an amplitude modulation only net, and anybody that can generate an AM signal is welcome. It's a great place to talk about vintage equipment and to obtain parts or sell stuff or whatever related to that. And everybody is, again, welcome to check in. We'll take a list of calls and have a round table format here. This is N4LQ, Steve in Shelby, North Carolina, and I'm listening for check-ins.
K4GDN. Morning, K3OS.
WB4NKL.
WB4ARK.
W4MEC.
Sounds like our sidebander friends start up the same time we do. Well, we'll just make all the noise we can here. Okay, here's what I got so far. WA4LLR, K4GDN, and K3OS, WB4NKL, WB4ARK, and W4MEC. Any more check-ins? Call now. Well, that's kind of a medium crowd. Hoping for more than that, but anyway, we'll have fun regardless. Well, let's see. It's 45 degrees here in Shelby, and had the last couple of days pretty good results with the hot water tank, the tankless hot water tank cleaning process, and that went very, very smoothly. I couldn't believe how well it went. I got it hooked up yesterday morning and waited for the XYL to finish the wash in the washing machine. And when she got done, I went in down there and flipped a few valves and plugged in the little pump that I bought and cleaned her out. So that was, I am now an expert. I'm thinking about going into business. But my situation was easy. I had a nice basement to go to. I guess a lot of those are installed outside. I've seen a lot of them outside on the foundation wall, and yeah, who knows what you're liable to run into there. But as far as I know, they all have connectors on them for hooking up washing machine hoses and hooking them to the little sump pump and pumping cleaner through them. So that's one of the neat features. With that, let's go ahead and do a go round. Let's see. Again, let me give the list again: LLR, GDN, OS, NKL, ARK, and MEC. So Dave, take it away. WA4LLR, N4LQ.
All righty, Steve. N4LQ and the old friends, WA4LLR. Well, good morning to everybody. We've got 40 degrees and heavy overcast. A very light sprinkle of rain taking place. And supposed to get up to about 60 today, I think, somewhere in that ballpark. Running the ART13, receiving down the R390A, and everybody sounds really good this morning. And again, congratulations on getting the water heater descaled, and you were talking about that isolation kit or isolation valves that you have to have in order to do the descaling. In the years that I've worked in the gas industry, I've run into about 3 that whoever plumbed them in did not include those isolation valves, and which makes it impossible to descale them. So believe it or not, there are a few instances of, of those being out there without those wonderful isolation valves. But I'm glad yours was installed correctly. Oh, let's see what's going on here. Well, we've got some folks doing some work, work on the house for us. We had to have one set of steps going up on the deck redone. They had been damaged through being bumped into with a vehicle, and had to have some decking boards replaced on the front side of the house. And they accomplished quite a bit yesterday, but they said they would be back this morning. I'm not 100% sure about that since it's this close to Christmas and a little sprinkle of rain, but since they haven't been paid yet, they have an incentive to do so. Anyway, that's enough rambling out of me, so let's go down to the coast. K4GDN, George, here it comes, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR and the old friends. This is K4GDN. Good morning, everybody. And here in the third world, it's about, it's in the 40s this morning. It's cloudy. That's supposed to get up into the 60s, so it sounds like it's pretty much the same everywhere. We're not expecting any rain for several days. This morning I'm running the Drake station, the 4Bs. I got the L4B running about 200 watts in the tune mode. It looks like the output meter's kicking up, I guess, on average 50, maybe even 100 watts. So it's probably a little higher than down on the peaks. I really like the L4B. It's a nice amplifier. It's easy to work on in most respects. The only thing that really gave me something about had to think about a bit was putting in the delay start for both the filament circuit and the high voltage. But it's nice having a lot of room to work with the power supply, a separate package. Makes it much easier. And it's nice having a directional coupler built into the linear, not just an power indicator. Anyway, everybody's coming in here pretty well this morning. It does seem to be a little bit of QSB. I'm on the in-fed half-wave, like I say, running about 200 watts in the tune mode. So with that, I'll pass it on down to Gary. K3OS in the group, K4GDN.
Hi, George. Morning. K4GDN, K3OS. Morning, everybody. Cloudy here. They're thinking we might get a little rain. I don't know. The forecast probability was low, but here we are. Just working on trying to migrate a hard disk in a computer to a larger one. So we will see how that operation goes here, little by little by little. Cloning a disk at the moment. See how that works out. And replace that. I'm trying to consolidate computer systems here. I've got 3 computers I want to consolidate down to one. And what I'm consolidating to, fortunately, is a Windows 11 device, which is making my life a little bit easier since Windows 10 is kind of dead at the moment. Anyway, so that's part of today's project. I was trying to kind of reel in here. One of our 2 cats started screaming around 5 o'clock this morning. I got up, and, took the flashlight out, did all that stuff, found both cats. They were looking at me like I was nuts. Can't figure out why they were screaming unless some animal walked by the back door and they were out there. So meanwhile, by that time I was up. So there you go. WB4NKL. Go ahead, Cliff, K3OS.
K3OS, it's WB4NKL. Sorry about the early alarm clock, Gary. Not too much going on here. I'm still waiting on some workers to return. They started the project. I think we first contacted them back in July to replace some stucco that had deteriorated on their house. And they finally showed up in September and did some work, and they would show up a day or so every so often, but we're still waiting on them to finish that job. So they'll call and say they're going to be here and don't show up. So it's kind of, there's no big hurry on it, but it's sort of aggravating too. And the only other thing waiting on is my high-speed internet. They're supposed to, power companies, Bright Ridge here, is supposed to be putting in some fiber here to the house. They come by last week and looked it over. We wasn't here, but they'd left a message, said they would be back on the 30th. Said they would have to go under the driveway. You know, our power comes on a pole that's across the driveway, so they've got some kind of machine they can send a cable under the driveway without having to dig up the whole thing. So interesting to see what's that operation. And looking forward to getting the fiber. Not too much else here. We got 46 degrees. It's supposed to get up to about 59. So highly overcast though. Chance of rain all day. So on over to you. Let's see. I'm not sure who I've turned it to. I think it was Buddy maybe. It's WB4NKL.
WB4NKL, WB4ARK. Okay, Cliff, got a very good signal into Lake Wiley today. I'm on the ART13, R390A. Well, 47 degrees here. Looks like it's about the same all the way across the area here. And very overcast. So it looks like it could rain, although it has not done anything yet. Let's see, well, got a few things accomplished yesterday. Got most of our packages delivered from Amazon and the mail service. Mail service seems to be doing pretty good right now. Things are not going down south of here and back to Charlotte and all that business, so hopefully they'll get that issue straightened out someday, although it's been going on for quite a while. Looks like the grass mowing people are visiting across the street today. I guess they're trying to get in their work before tomorrow. Probably gonna take off and have an early Christmas. Well, I guess that's about it for right now. So over to Charlie, WB4MEC, WB4ARK.
Okay, buddy, WB4ARK and the group W4MEC. Doing good morning to everybody. It's booming in here just fine today. Yeah, we got 50 degrees. It's warm out there, and checked all three thermometers. They all said 50, so must be 50. And overcast, no rain yet. Let's see what else. And we got lazy this morning, and we're in the house shack running the Heath Kit tribes, and just didn't feel like going out to the outside there and firing something up. And so anyway, it's interesting about that stucco job there. Cliff, I know several years ago there was issues with them everywhere, and for some reason everybody wanting to get their own house stuccoed. And on the way to church, there was a house on a corner that was all clapboard siding, and some way, shape, or form, came back the next Sunday and it was all stucco. And I don't know what they did. I guess they put fern strips and wire on it or something, but I thought it was weird that they did that on a nice clapboard sided house. I guess they didn't want to paint it. I don't know. They put they had put stucco on that had a pigment in it. So my dad's house was stucco, but it was concrete block with stucco over that. Of course, that sticks like glue to concrete block. But in the early 70s, or I can't remember, maybe late 70s, there was a big thing going on where they would put foam in the concrete blocks, and it looked like a Chicago mob machine gunned our house. There were so many holes drilled in the concrete blocks, and they would inject the foam in there, and they put holes at the top and the bottom and in the middle so they could check the progress of the foam filling the cavities. So, you know, you got to think about a concrete block. Each have got 2 cavities, so every basically every vertical column of blocks would have a hole in it, and that's a lot of holes. But I don't know if it did any good in that house or not, to putting all that foam in there, but he had it done. So I'm not sure if anybody who's bought the house since ever noticed it, because they did such a good job of covering the holes up, and they painted the house in the process. So. But yeah, it was a piece of Swiss cheese. So, all right, back to you, Steve, N4LQ in the group, W4MEC.
Okay, W4MEC, N4LQ. Do we have any more check-ins to the old friends net? Please call. There's Mr. Late Greg, KF4DRN. Greg, go ahead and then turn it back to me.
N4LQ, KF4DRN. Finally got tuned up here. I hope I'm on frequency good. I zero baited, using an old Ferris signal generator this morning. Interesting experiment, I guess. But anyway, zero baited it and everything, and it's not interfering too bad with my receiving end of it. I can hear the little squeal and just zero beat it right in. No problem, you know. And I just want to make sure it was warmed up good enough. N4LQ, KF4DRN.
Okay, let me see. I'm a little bit off frequency here. Try to get it on a little closer there. Anyway, zero beat me now. All right, you're sounding good on the Harvey Wells, Greg. And anybody else want to check in? I guess not. All right. Well, let's see. Charlie, they did a lot of when I was working at the bank, we did a lot of buildings in Drive-It. That's what they called it, DRIVET, or something like that, I guess. And they just cover the whole building with styrofoam panels, and then smear on this mud that's supposed to be the stucco, I guess. And it just looks like, I'm not really sure what it is, if it's a concrete solution, cement type stuff. And then you can spray it, paint it, and it looks okay. It's just that it's a little bit too fragile. If it's exposed to the street traffic, which ours was, we had a building that was right on the sidewalk, and people found out that they could kick it and kick big dents in it, being styrofoam. But otherwise, it's a good insulation, I guess. And let's see, Buddy, okay on the mail delivery, going smoothly there, and Cliff, okay on the workers and getting fiber. Well, they had to run a new cable under the street, practically in front of my house here for a neighbor. And I guess the street's probably 20, 25 feet wide. And they just, they had some kind of machine. They just pulled up there and fired that thing up, and it shoved the cable right under the street and came out the other end, and there wasn't any, maybe just a few little clops of dirt on each end, but that was about the only sign that they were even there. So it's amazing how they've got that perfected now. It makes it really neat. And I don't know what to tell you about your workers. It's just, it's a shame. And I suspect a lot of them have either been deported or self-deported. I see where they're paying people $3,000 a piece now to self-deport. And now that would be pretty tempting, I would think. Gary, okay on your cats waking you up. That's, I don't know which is worse, cats or dogs waking you up. Both of them would be a little bad. Good luck on the hard disk cloning. And George, your drakes are pounding in here good and strong. And let's see, Dave. Somebody ran into your deck with or your steps with a car. That sounds pretty rough, but sounds like you're getting those taken care of. And yeah, they're supposed to put the isolation valves on any of these tankless water heaters. They just go underneath, and there's 4 levers, and one lever cuts the main water off from coming in, another one cuts the water coming out of the tank off, and then the other 2 reroute the water from the tank down to your little cleaning pump in the bucket. And then when you're done, you just put it all back the way it was, and it's pretty easy. My valves have been there 5 years and hadn't been turned. I had to have help from the channel locks to get the job done. Another thing that happened yesterday was I heard some chainsawing going on, and there was somebody across the street, had a couple of Mexicans over there trimming a tree, and one of them came over and asked me if I needed any work done. I said, well, let's go look at this. So I took him around back, and I had a tree fall on the fence, which, fences attract trees. It's been there for, since, I guess, early this spring. After I got a new fence, one of the trees decided to uproot itself and fall on it. So I showed him that. I said, I just want it off the fence, that's all. And there's no way I could do it because the tree was hanging over a 10-foot drop-off into a ditch. Well, that guy, he said, well, I'll do that for $200. And I said, no, forget it. He said, well, how much? And I said, $100. He said, okay. So he went down there with his chainsaw. He had it done in 10 minutes. And he climbed up on the fence and sat down on the top rail of that chain link fence and reached over the ditch and cut the tree off, and it fell right down in the ditch. And then they just shoved the short part off, and that was it. And so that worked out quite well. Fortunately, nobody got hurt. So, Dave, back to you, WA4LLR, N4LQ. K4, KZ4B. Yeah, tell you what, go ahead and then turn it over to Dave, WA4LLR, and you'll be in between me and him. John, over.
Okay, N4LQ in the group, this is KZ4B. Yeah, I'm late as usual. A beautiful day I think we're getting ready to have, which is, I don't need a white Christmas. I need a warm Christmas, and it looks like we're going to get it. So I am a very happy camper. and I won't keep it very long. I'm on the usual AR-82 driven by the T-150, and you're booming in here, Steve. I haven't heard anybody else yet, but I would assume conditions are quite good. So over to Dave, always strong Dave, WA4LLR in the group, KZ4B, over.
All right, John, fine business. KZ4B. And the net, WA4LLR. All righty, well, good copy on everybody. Steve, it was actually a truck that hit the steps. Anyway, let's see here. Well, it sounds like the workers have arrived. I'm hearing some kind of a saw going on upstairs, so I guess I better make this my 73 round. Anyway, George, the drag station sounds good. And Gary, sorry about the cat alarm. I think I would prefer a dog alarm. They just typically bark, and the cats tend to jump up on wherever you're sleeping. Cliff, hope your workers make it back. Buddy, the ART-13 sounds good as always, and Charlie, so does the TX-1. Greg, glad you got the Harvey and the signal generator lined up for this frequency. And John, I am with you. Warm Christmas is what it's all about. Somebody else can have those white Christmas. I'm not dreaming of them. My ideal Christmas would be palm trees and an ocean breeze and aquamarine water. But, oh well. Let's see. Space weather today, sunspot count's 80, solar flux index is 133, and the K is 3. Possibility of some unrest tomorrow when a CME passes by. They're not calling for a direct hit, but might have some effect. A few items from this day in history. On this day in 2001, Argentina announced suspension of payments on external debt, which resulted in the biggest debt default in history. On this day in 1968, 82 crewmen of the USS Pueblo were released from 11 months captivity in North Korea. On this day in 1913, Woodrow Wilson signed the Federal Reserve Act, and the Federal Reserve System came into being. On this day in 1805, Joseph Smith, founder of the Mormon Church, was born in Sharon, Vermont. On this day in 1783, George Washington resigned as Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army. And one just priceless bit of history. On this day in 1888, Vincent van Gogh cut off part of his left ear after an argument with fellow artist Paul Gauguin, and reportedly delivered his ear to a nearby brothel. So, there you go. K4GDN, WA4LLR, 73 to everybody, and Merry Christmas.
Okay, WA4LLR in the group, it's K4GDN, and hope you get your work done there, Dave. And I'm copying everybody well with the exception of Greg. Greg, just awful weak. I could hear him in there, but I really couldn't copy him. Band seems to be in pretty good shape here. I'm copying everybody pretty well. There is some QSB, and the sidebanders don't seem to be giving us too much of a fit down here. Excuse me. I'm glad to hear that the Drake station's getting out fine. I like the Drakes. I've had the twins for quite some time. I guess close to 30 years now. I bought them used from a friend. And then the L4B I got it about a year or so ago. But I really like the Drake setup. Anyway, like I said, I'm covering everybody pretty well. There is a little bit of QSB on the band this morning, but everybody's coming in here quite well. And that's interesting about the tankless hot water heater. A family I rented a trailer from in the mid-70s after I got out of the service and went back to school. They had a tankless heater that was directly under their kitchen, and that's all it supplied was the water to the kitchen. I guess the kitchen sink. I don't know if it supplied anything else in the house, but it was under the floor. They had a pretty good sized crawl space the way their house was built. But I've often been interested in those, and the descaling issue certainly is something you're going to have to take into account with that sort of an arrangement. So anyway, with Alex now copying everybody pretty well with the exception of Greg. And so we'll pass it on to Gary. K3OS in the group, K4GDN.
K4GDN, K3OS. All right, George, hey, copying you really well here this morning. Nice, a little bit of up and down, but carrier-wise, but getting 100%, pretty solid. I was going to comment on Cliff's thing about getting under the driveway. Yeah, they've done some of that work here. It's an amazing little machine, whatever that little tunneling machine is, and they can kind of angle it and send this little missile thing, and looks like a little torpedo kind of thing, and digs out the dirt, creates a little tube, and they just push the stuff right through it. A pretty slick operation, as opposed to having to dig up your driveway, which they don't do. I've got a tube, actually laid a tube in my driveway before they poured the cement, a little 2-inch conduit, so I could get some of the wiring and stuff through it. And underneath the garage, I know where that is, underneath the driveway, so I kind of know where that is. So that worked out real well, but they still had to tunnel underneath it as well. Anyway, I'm going to say 73s to everybody on this round. My disc is cloning away as we speak. I'm watching it. And I'm going to a larger disc and a NV2, you know, a little plug-in stick that my system will boot from, so you can speed this thing up, get a little more storage, and do some other stuff. But it's got, according to it, it's got about an hour to go before it's completed, just taking its good old time, but I don't care. So anyway, everybody have a really great day, really good Christmas, and we've got a family get-together tomorrow evening, so we'll look forward to that, and plenty of good food and fellowship. Over to you, Cliff, WB4NKL. Hope you get your fiber, K3OS.
Yeah, K3OS, it's WB4NKL. Okay, Gary, 73s. Yeah, I think they'll get here. They got it to a pole right below the house here, so they've got to bring it on up and under the driveway and into the house. But we had some competition, actually. The power company and the phone company both hung fiber through here last summer about the same time, and I'm going with the power company because they're local, and the phone company, I don't know where that's embarked, or I forget what they're I forget their name, but they're not local. The last time I had to have some work done here, they sent a repairman out of Florida. Took about a week to get here, so I'm going with the local folks, and hopefully they'll do good on the getting under the driveway. My experience with that was years ago when I went to work for the railroad. We were trying to put a signal cable under the Blue Ridge Parkway. Of course, we didn't have any specialized tools back. We just dug a hole and started driving conduit underneath, and must have hit a rock somewhere and deflected. It come up in the middle of the Blue Ridge Parkway, and that didn't go over too well with the government folks. But that was my experience with going under a road. But we finally got it straightened out. Go ahead, buddy. WB4ARK, it's WB4NKL.
WB4NKL, WB4ARK. I can see that coming up in the middle of the Blue Ridge Parkway. Oh goodness, that's yeah. That would have been a laugh. Oh gosh. Well, Gary, we have 2 cats, and every once in a while, one of them will get a wild hair and start meowing. The last time it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. That was about 2 weeks ago. And that cat was softly meowing. Just meow, meow, meow. Kept on going. So I thought, I think I better get up and check on this. So I quietly got out of the bed. Because they can hear you. And if they hear you, they'll stop what they're doing. And so I snuck in the living room, and here's this cat sitting on the back of the sofa looking at me. And I knew it was the only one that could be doing it because I know it's meow. And so I told it, hey, come on in the bedroom. And I picked it up, carried it in the bedroom, put it on the bed, and that was it. That was the end of that problem. So I don't know exactly what goes on with these cats, but they'll get in a mood. And the other one, it's a pretty quiet cat. It has a very soft meow, but if it wants to get heard, it can let out a pretty good yelp, but it doesn't do that very often. That's the cat story. Yeah, they've had this boring tool for quite some time now. They used it to repair our cable. We've had it done 3 times. Last time they put in fiber. They said anytime somebody breaks this cable, it's going to cost a lot of money to get it fixed. So they put it in and buried it. They had a backhoe. Well, it's not a backhoe. I guess it is a backhoe. But it has a boring unit on the front, on the back of it, and it trenches the yard and lays the cable in it. But it also has an attachment that can bore under the driveway. Pretty small little device. Bored under the driveway, ran the cable through that, and then they attached it to the unit and buried it across the yard, down around the side of the house and onto the entrance. It's a pretty good run. So they put it in a natural area, which is helpful. I think it's the natural area goes from the street to almost to the corner of the house, probably about 75 feet, something like that. And they put it in there. Hopefully nobody will dig it up there. Anyhow, guess we'll say 73 at this point, and everybody have a great Christmas. So I think I might be here Christmas Day. I don't know. We'll see. So over to W4MEC. WB4ARK.
Alrighty, buddy, WB4ARK and the group W4MEC. Real good. I always wondered how they steer those things, because the pipe, when the machine is up there, it's at an angle. It's on top of the ground at an angle, and they get that pipe to go in there and go under whatever they're drilling, and then pop it out the other side. So, and it usually pops out at an angle. So, I guess there's a way to bend the drill rod or whatever, but Yeah, I don't know who thought that machine up, but that saved a lot of effort there. I know a lot of companies. There was this company, I guess it's still in business, called Situform, and they got around a lot of digging up roads and things for sewer lines because they would put this lining in there as plastic lining, and they had a way of going into old sewer lines and coating the inside, make it like PVC or something. They didn't have to dig up the street. But I guess a lot of places, especially Hendersonville, loves to dig up the street, especially after they've just paved it. And they just did Church Street here. I didn't know this, but it's really a pain in the rear if you got a U.S. highway going through a town because it belongs to the U.S. government. And anything you do to it or want to do to it or get it repaved, it's on their schedule, not the state or anybody like that. So Highway 25 goes through Hendersonville, and they just paved Church Street, which is the southbound side of it. And it had like 1 million cuts in it from before where they dug it up for pipes and water and whatever down, sewer lines, manhole covers and all that stuff. And it was a royal mess, and they paved it here. They started on November 3rd, and they're still playing with it. Finally, they're putting some paint down. They got one line down the middle of it, but one painted line, the traffic markings. They got a way to go there, but overall, I'd say it was a fly-by-night operation that repaved the road, so we'll see how long it lasts. And the one thing they didn't do is they didn't put thankfully, they didn't cut the middle with the rumble strip, and I don't know. They put a lot of roads up here with the rumble strip. The problem is in the wintertime they fill up with water and they freeze and they break the break the asphalt up, and they got a lot of roads here. The pavement, the driving on pavement part is fine, but in the middle it's all broken up and missing, and you see the old pavement underneath it. So where there's more rumble strips. So I don't know what that idea was, but when you get water and freezing weather, it's not a good one. So anyway, well, I'll hold on here to the end. So I wonder, Dave, it'll be your turn to do the net on Thursday. If I missed it, I wonder if you're going to plan on doing it, or if you're going to have a stand-in, being that it's Christmas morning. KF4DRN, take it away, Greg. W4MEC.
W4MEC, KF4DRN. Got a frequency counter hooked up to the signal generator. I can monitor what it's doing there. I've got two outputs on it, a high one and a low one. So anyway, that's what I'm using this morning. Hope to have BFO here the next few days. As soon as I can get up to Big Cliff. So anyway, I'll say 7-3 on this one and listen for a bit. N4LQ, KF4DRN, 7-3.
All right, KF4DRN, Greg, N4LQ, real good. Do we have any last-minute check-ins that just want to say hello? Nothing heard, okay. Well, I think Dave took off because he heard sawing. I don't know if he's still here or not, but I'm going to assume that he'll be here to run the net Thursday. I believe that's his day. Let's see here, December. Yeah, WA4LLR is on board for Thursday, so I assume he'll be here. If not, I'll be here, and Charlie probably be here. So no problem. Hope everybody can make it. And let's see, that was an interesting comment he made about Van Gogh sending his ear to the brothel. I'm not sure what to make of that. I just wonder if that really happened. I just wonder what the reaction was. Anyway, we'll go ahead and make this the 73 round, and I'll pass it. I'll see if Dave's here first. Dave, are you still here? All right, he's gone to check on his workers. So with that, I'll turn it over to George. I think George is still here. Gary's gone. Buddy's gone. And I think that's all. K4GDN, N4LQ.
Okay, N4LQ, the group K4GDN. Yeah, I'm still here. And the band seems to be doing pretty good, but I just couldn't copy Greg. I could hear him in there a little bit, but not much. And appreciate you calling the net there, Steve. And I don't know if I'll make it in on Thursday. We're going to be here, but I may have something going on there in the morning. So I'm going to say 73 on this one and turn it over to Cliff. I think he's still there. WB4NKL in the group, K4GDN.
Give it to John. KZ4B, go ahead and take it, then give it to Cliff.
Roger. Let's see, Cliff. Okay, good. Listen, I'm very familiar with those boring machines. Neat trick. But what I used to do, and I've done this underneath several roads, is I would take a half-inch diameter Schedule 40 pipe, preferably black iron because it's cheaper, and put a hose bib, a hose fitting on one end, and the other end was just cut off, the end of the pipe. Sometimes I would taper it, but I'd run water through it, and if I had a water supply, and it would do a nice job of boring. Now, if it ran into a rock, you were screwed. You'd have to back it out and reroute a little bit to try to miss the rock. And in some locations, there's so many rocks that doesn't work. But especially if you're like in Darlington, South Carolina with sandy loam, there aren't any rocks. So it works like a charm. The water will blast out the especially sandy loam. If it's muddy, good old red mud clay, that works pretty good as long as there are no rocks in it. But it makes a hole that's significantly larger than the OD of the pipe. And so anyway, that is a poor man's way to get under a road or a driveway. Thanks for calling the net, Steve. Everybody's booming in quite nicely. I had to run the narrow filter to keep the sidebanders out, but they all had good signals because nobody was splattering. It was the width of my receiver, not anything they were doing wrong. So, hope everybody has a very Merry Christmas. Somebody comment, are we going to try to get on Christmas Day or not? Let's see, goes to Cliff. WB4NKL and the group KZ4B over.
Yeah, KZ4B, it's WB4NKL. I don't know how I ended up after you, John, but it's all right. I think they're going to, Steve says they're going to try to do the net Thursday. Dave's supposed to call it, and if he can't, Steve sounds like he'll be back up, so I'll be here as far as I know. Greg, you got the Harvey Wells sounding real good. I wouldn't touch a thing on audio or anything. It's a real good audio. About the best Harvey I've heard in a while. I'll say 73s and enjoyed it, and Merry Christmas to everybody, but I'll probably be here Thursday also to check in. So, Steve, who gets it next? It's WB4NKL.
It goes to Charlie because Buddy has signed off.
Okay, WB4NKL. and the group, W4MEC. Very good, fellas, and if you don't show up on Thursday, Merry Christmas, and we'll see you on Sunday. And see what you got, see what Santa brought you, and y'all have a good rest of the day here. And I see the sun is coming out and burning stuff off there. It's turning to partly cloudy day, so I see some blue sky. So maybe it'll be nice after all. So I didn't put an X by Greg's name. I think I vaguely remember him signing off on the last go around, but I'm going to turn it over to him. If he's not there, John, pick it up. If you're still there, 73 K4DRN in the group W4MEC.
All right, I think that's about it. Everybody's said 73s, so we'll do the same and see you all on Thursday morning at 8 o'clock here on 3715. This N4LQ closing the Old Friends Net.